Welcome everyone back to the channel. Kyle here. Thanks for joining me once again for another unboxing and review video. Today we're going to talk about a figure line I have never dabbled in, the Mortal Kombat line. Like a lot of people out there, I did love Mortal Kombat back in the day. Mortal Kombat 1 made me buy a Sega way back in the day. Mortal Kombat 2 was probably my favorite Mortal Kombat game up to that point. I even enjoyed Mortal Kombat 3. And then, for whatever reason, I did end up getting out of Mortal Kombat. I remember going to the movie, the original movie with Christopher Lambert as Raiden, as we all remember. But I loved Mortal Kombat. I even remember as a kid buying the G.I. Joe Mortal Kombat figures as well as the G.I. Joe Street Fighter figures, if anybody remembers those from way back in the day. But now we have more Mortal Kombat figures made by Mcfarlane, and as some of you guys know, I kind of see it from the outside. I come across it every once in a while, but the Mortal Kombat character line has expanded out to the Terminator, RoboCop, and Spawn, as we can see right here. Which brings Spawn into the mix of Mortal Kombat, which is pretty cool, because, you know, Spawn back in the 90s was a huge comic book character. Image Comics, for those of you guys that are familiar with Image, Todd McFarlane's created character. Todd McFarlane was huge for the Spider-Man books, among others, late 80s, early 90s, and jumped over to Image and started that whole comic book thing. It's quite the story. You can look that up if you're really interested, but Spawn was his go-to main character that he invented. Spawn's still going today. Some of you guys probably pre-ordered the new Spawn figure that's on Kickstarter. A very, very cool looking Spawn thing. I didn't jump into that, even though I was a huge Spawn fan back in the day, but I think the massive pack with the 3 figures is about $160. But from what I read the other day, it was the #1 Kickstarter action figure of all time, over $3 million. There's a lot of love for the Spawn character out there. Obviously not as well known as the Batman, Spider-Man, Supermans of the world, but there is a lot of Spawn fans, and that's one of the reasons he is in Mortal Kombat. You go back to the 90s, and Spawn figures were actually, I think, the boom that it took. Starting Lineup and Spawn were the boom of the action figure craze. The hardcore collectability, the variants, the chases, people, you know, the secondary market. A lot of that is thank you for good or for bad for Starting Lineup figures and the Spawn figures back in the day. You know, Hasbro's LJN wrestling figures, Toy Biz X-Men, there wasn't a lot of passion and a lot of secondary value, but then, you know, Starting Lineups took off. You know, Tickle Me Elmo's probably in the discussion in the 90s for that. But Spawn figures were a huge part of that with all the different variants and chases and cool packaging, and it took toys to another level. Todd McFarlane actually is single-handedly responsible, in my opinion, for ruining Starting Lineups. I don't know if ruin's the right word, but they took Starting Lineups to the next level. They had more detailed, bigger figures, and that killed Starting Lineup off, as we all know. And Starting Lineups are unfortunately practically worthless right now. But that's just a quick history of Spawn in the action figure world. I mean, I could talk all day about hunting Spawn figures back in the day, but we're here to talk about the Mortal Kombat Spawn that just came out. Did get this from GameStop. They had a hot sale, $18.99. I needed another item to get free shipping, and I was kicking the tires on this. I said, I need one Spawn figure in my superhero collection, and I wasn't going to spend all the money on the Kickstarter, and I said, this will do. This is good enough. It's a little bit bigger than a traditional Marvel Legends scale, for example, but I went along with it. Being a Spawn fan and somebody, you know, that collected and grew up with Spawn, I had to have at least one Spawn in my collection, so here we are. McFarlane Toys made this, as they do all the other Mortal Kombat figures. We'll take a little peek there. You can see. You know, there's the side of the package, traditional Spawn. There's that. Little window box on the top. All the stuff we don't care about on the bottom with the UPC. And then the back, the full-on Spawn there. First impressions, an awesome looking figure. Like I said, taller. We're looking at about 7.5 to 8 inches, probably just shy of 8 inches. This is the edition that comes with the sword. Some of you guys may have read, if you follow along on this, it sounds like a new one is coming with a mace instead of a sword weapon. I'm not sure of the running change. Could be one of those McFarlane variant things they like to do every once in a while to us. But this one is a traditional Spawn look for the most part. Also comes with a base I can see in here. A nice packaging. I do give it up for the packaging, it being smaller. If you're keeping this in the cart, I like a smaller, tighter package. That's me personally, because it gives you more room to display figures. You know, if you get that big bubble box out here this big, it cuts down your figure expansion room. This cuts it down to a nice size. Very similar to the Star Wars Black Series. I do enjoy that box too. I would love to see Mattel's one day go to this size. You know, it's good for the environment, I'm sure. Less packaging is always great, but just being able to have it in your collection and be able to, if you're an MOC guy, if you're displaying it on your wall, you got more room for figures. Nothing worse than, oh, my wall's full. What do? Do I move on from my collection? Do I leave it forever? A lot of unanswered questions there when that happens, but let's get to this. You know, it's funny, it says 14 plus on here, not a toy. So I will not let my daughters touch this because I'm sure it would be trouble since it is not a toy. Mcfarlane Toys, like I said, no bio or anything on the back. Just talking about Mortal Kombat, related characters are owned by Warner Brothers Entertainment. So nothing exciting, no file card back here. Let's open it up. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if these hold up to the 90s Spawn figures. Oh. There's the box, and we'll see you later. Nice green, lime green packaging with the base stand in there. I do appreciate Mcfarlane having a base stand. I think every figure should come with a stand of some sort. I know it does cost more in the long run. There it is. Just your normal cheap black plastic stand. It says Mortal Kombat on it. I like it. I like a stand for my figures because 99% of them I feel need a stand. They won't fall over as easy and so forth. Let's see. It looks like we got to do a little more cutting, but there he is in the package. Your traditional Spawn figure. As usual, I'll pop the accessory out. Just take a peek. It was zip tied in there, but I did squeak it out. Got the Spawn logo and a little blood on it, it looks like. I'm guessing this must be part of his Mortal Kombat finisher, is his sword. We all know Spawn has wielded many weapons in the comic books, movies, cartoon, guns, you name it. But that's the sword. Let's get the old razor blade out. Let's see here. See if we can get this guy open. You know, some people use their teeth. My dad always used his teeth. I can't believe it. I've never been a teeth guy. I always got a nice razor blade ready at all times. Like so. All right. Cape through the package. Sorry about the noise. And there she is. Goodbye. Very soft cape, can move around. Not cloth, but plastic. Like I said, I'm not familiar with these figures. I don't buy the Mortal Kombat line. It's been a long time since I've bought in Mcfarlane Toys toy line. McFarlane's always been ahead on the articulation of figures and such, and this one's no exception. You got the ab crunch, you got elbow, you got the bicep swivel, you got the shoulders, you got the head, you got the thigh, you got the knee, you got double jointed knee, you got foot, you got the ankle, and you got a cape. The neck moves up and down. So a lot of playability on here. Too bad this isn't for kids. As we know, 14 and older only is allowed to touch this toy. Get his sword in here. I don't mind this. I know Mcfarlane, the new DC figures are by Mcfarlane, and I've window shopped those as I've been toy hunting and seen them. Never really been a huge DC guy. Something tells me I might, though, if there's a Superman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, Flash that look like the classic 80s Super Friends look, I might dabble. That might be enough, and that's all I would need is just your core Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and so forth. But I do like, this is a throwback, because I remember the toys back in the day. Hey, having the bigger foot and the little ankle thing. This foot is a little small, though. You know, you got the big booted figure, but boy, the other foot is just small. Part of that is because the optical eye trickery when you look at one big foot and then one small one, but it's very strange. You know, I don't know if you could ask for much more out of this figure. $18.99 was the price point on the GameStop sale. Very, very strong figure. I would have loved, it's probably me being greedy, but I would have loved the other head. You know, Hamburger Head Spawn is what he was known back in the old toy days. He had kind of like a Deadpool looking, if you're familiar, or Freddy Krueger, even better. Kind of that hamburger face all burned up and stuff. Very interesting story in Spawn, if you are familiar or not. Maybe it's something to look into. But let's see the stand, how well that fits. Like a glove. Like a glove. There he is. Fits, doesn't fall over on the stand. You like to see that. I'm very happy with this purchase. I think this was well worth it. If I was going to have just one Spawn figure in my collection, I think this is the one that makes sense for me right now. Like I said, that Kickstarter is out there, but boy, that's a little pricey. I'm not that hardcore of a Spawn fan to buy that huge Kickstarter package, so this will do me just well. You know, there's a lot of other Spawns. There was Space Spawn, there was Medieval Spawn, there was Commando Spawn, tons of different Spawns in his different iterations and stuff. And some of the surrounding characters, I loved Malabolgia, I believe is how you pronounce it, the big, like, devil type guy. I had him as a kid. He was a great one. I would, you know, if NECA did build these kind of this size and this scale, I might even dabble. It might hit me in the feels. I might go back and get them, some of those image characters. But that's the Mortal Kombat Edition Spawn. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. This is a nice trip down memory lane for me. I haven't really thought about Spawn in a long time. I'm happy to have this one. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to comment on the video. And most importantly, please subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when these unboxings, weekly purchases, fig hunting videos, and so forth come out. And don't forget to follow me on social media. At SirPaul64 on Twitter. And at _Kyle_Peterson on Instagram. Doing some figure giveaways on there. And a lot of store hunting trips and some pictures and some news on a daily basis. So reach out to me too with any comments there or comment in the video. But that's all I got. Until next time, thank everybody for watching. We'll see you guys all soon. Thanks.